agenda. It will be the panel discussion moderated by Alex Lee. So let me briefly introduce Alex. So Alex is emerging IT and digital technology innovation and sustainable business strategy expert with 30 years experience in the high-tech industry. He is a New York State attorney, a founder of the ESG DX Forum, ESG plus digital transformation, and also a founder of the Enterprise Industrial Metaverse Forum for digital twins and AI and blockchain, IoT and XR convergence. Yeah, Alex, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Okay, so this is the final session of today's kickoff meeting. So it's excited. We are going to talk about the metaverse and then in relation to the digital transformation. So in logistics, that all the speakers of today will be a panel, and then so I'm going to have like 15 minutes of the introduction and the set the stage of today's panel discussion. And then each panel will discuss about their view or insight about the metaverse in general, and then whether they can be the super accelerator of the digital transformation. So they will be each talk for 5 minutes. So we'll fit into 30 minutes in a time limit. Okay, so without any delay, I will start in generally what the status of the now and the future, and whether they can be related to acceleration of the digital transformation. So you can see that Gartner predict 25% of people in the world will spend at least 1 hour per day in the metaverse by year 2026. So it's only for 4 years left. So it's huge people will be into the metaverse. So how can we build up? And then for the scientific Americans, say the spatial computing. The spatial computing is one way to actually you digitalize your world, people, object, environment, everything, and then their activities to put into your digital space. And then so this is the fundamental blocks, actually the digitalization of your whole space, actual space to the metaverse space. So will be the next big thing. And then also CBS News talk about like digital twins. So companies are now build the race to build digital twin in the metaverse. So we already talk about what the digital twins. And then Bloomberg talk about a huge potential, like a metaverse, maybe the 800 billion market next tech platforms. So whether it's like integrate with the XR devices, or is it like a computing cloud, or whether it's like AI, IoT, blockchain, what all the like a digital IT and telecom, yeah, will be built up for the supporting this metaverse. Is a huge potential in the market. And finally, in general, in the economics of this metaverse, will generate new economic system as large as 13 trillion by year 2030. So it's like 10 years. So this is the one we have now and in the future. Okay, so I'll try to have you to understand what really means metaverse and what the current state and the future. So I will give you some snapshot, but I'm not going to tell you everything here, but I summarize everything in one page. So you may be difficult to follow everything, but I'm going to share later. So you can see detail, but I would like to pinpoint how actually can we develop metaverse. So actually the definition of metaverse is a physical and virtual converged world. So how we can converge two worlds? So it's the easiest way is you purely build a virtual world. We know about it, right? It's everything is virtual. And then we are living in the physical world. And then how it happened they merge? First, the real world, like an object, you and me, and buildings and land, everything, will be joined to the virtual world as their digital representation. So for the people, they will call avatar, right? So, and then you see that a lot of the like virtual things will be mixed with the real thing, the virtual space. And then also you already know about the like augmented reality, means that your real space will be joined by virtual space, so augmented. So we call two space mingle in the first step is augmentation by each space. So augmented virtually means that there is a virtual space is augmented by the real space. And then augmented reality means the real space augmented by the virtual space. And then talk about the digital twin. The digital twins means that you will set up the mirror world, exactly the two worlds that are linked together, and then they're mirroring. So you can think of a physical twin, digital twin. They connected by real-time data flow, for example, IoT data flows, and then they're mirroring. So they are mixed together. And then you know about like a mixed reality. So all the realities will be mixed together and then in between. And then finally, you will have like, for example, matrix in the movie. You don't know where you stay, whether it's a virtual or not, right? So I'm not sure we can go the stage, but this is like a paradigm shift. And then also you all talk about, or the speaker talk about what is the fundamental building for the technology innovation to support this kind of vision. And then you talk about like, for example, XR devices and human computer interface, like brain interface, and also like a digital sense, right? The very sensing technology is very important. And also like AI, we already talk about a lot of the AI technology will be needed. And also like 5G, telecom, IoT, and the spatial computing, and also most importantly, digital twins. And then also we are like a fundamental block like blockchain and Web 3.0, like a decentralized technology. And then also we need some how we can build up like a 3D technology, how you map like a digital space and then like a physical space at the same time. So this is the fundamental one. And then it will be adopted in industry first, and it will be deployed in the mass like consumer market. So what we bring will have a new experience in this metaverse space. So this is what I summarize everything up to now, that every industry in vertical, they're trying to build up their own metaverse space. So for example, in the fashion, like a famous brand like a Nike or the Gucci, they have their own brand in the metaverse. So they have like a metaverse shop or shopping mall, or they're like, for example, showroom in the automotive industry. And then also like retail, the like virtual shopping mall everywhere there. And then also like you have like Disney's metaverse theme park. And then also you can think of even bank. And then also you have like in the sports and the travel and the real estate restaurant and education and healthcare, even the manufacturing, all the factories or your business will be metaverse. So this is a trend that we have. So how can we build up digital transformation? So digitalization of your real space and add up to your virtual space, also transforming your life, your business, and then your everything. Like for example, your experience is completely different. So what it means is metaverse transformation means that there is a super accelerator of the digital transformation. This is my view. Okay, so having said that, so we have literally have a distinguished panel. So they have a, if they include their like add up their experience, expertise, yeah, is at least as far as I know, they have at least 30 years experience in each industry, and then a lot of the different positions. So even they experience a lot of the like emerging technology cycles. So there is good position to share their insight, their experience about the metaverse. Okay, so starting from Lee, we are going to discuss about Lee, how about you start at your insight about the metaverse in general, and whether they can be like accelerator of the digital transformation?
Well, initially you think metaverse is just another way of displaying information, and as I talked earlier, a lot of things have changed since the 70s, where we had IBM kind of monitors and digital VT100s, and excuse me, we were just lucky to get alphanumeric information up on the screen. Fast forward today, you still got the information, but we've built a world of relationships around that information that you can interact with. Now, I think that's kind of cool if you think, but since we're focused on beaming the information almost directly into people's eyeballs, Metaverse again sounds cool, but I don't know how much the average human being can take the helmet. 10 minutes, 2 hours, take it off by lunchtime. We still got some things to work through to make sure that the helmet is practical. But in the meantime, Roberto mentioned that standards and concepts were being designed. I hope it all comes together such that Metaverse becomes a tool that we can actually use. So I'm on the bench watching right now. You could say, what will come next that will make the tool worth all the hype.
Thank you, Rick. How about you?
Thank you. I think the term metaverse and digital transformation in some cases are interchangeable. Some people commented that metaverse is a more sexy term compared with digital transformation. So it's basically sort of like that metaverse is about everything, every existing and emerging technology. But such kind of, I would say, such kind of view has both pros and cons. I would say that according to my observation, there are probably 3 or 4 groups of people who are talking about metaverse, but they are actually meaning different things based on different areas they came from. One is XR. So many people are used to be working, have been working in the XR, extended reality area. So when they are talking about the metaverse, they would mainly mean like virtual worlds, how to create virtual experiences. So I think I'm part of that group, sort of. And companies like Meta and Microsoft and NVIDIA, I believe, are also could be classified in that group. And another one is very close to the first group, which is digital twin. I think this group could be sort of considered as the same as the first group, except for the focus. So the XR group is more consumer oriented, but the digital twin is for now is more enterprise oriented. Third group was like I would say many people, especially those from strong artificial intelligence background, they keep talking about digital being or virtual humans. So they wanted to drive digital beings or digital humans with artificial intelligence. Of course, such kind of technology has application scenarios in both consumer and business markets. So I heard many people are addressing the metaverse from that angle. And the fourth group is from the crypto, decentralized, and NFT area. So those people that talk about the metaverse, they are mainly focusing on creating some digital arts or digital assets in the form of NFT and trying to make money from that. I'm not saying that is not right, but I think that is sort of not the key or the core of the metaverse, in my humble opinion. So I think first of all, the industry would benefit from making a consensus on having a consensus on the definition, even a broader definition of the metaverse, and probably we could come up with some terminology standards specifying different types of metaverse, different levels of metaverse, things like that. So in order to avoid the situation that the metaverse is just an alternative name of the digital transformation, in my humble opinion, as I mentioned in my presentation, I would say that the metaverse should be a vision, should be a long-term goal, and should be the advanced stage of digital transformation. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you. How about Tom?
Been a little while. Why don't you remind me of the question again?
Yeah, actually, because we discussed about a lot of the aspect of the digital transformation and the metaverse. So I'd like to hear from you that your insight about in general about the metaverse in current and the future, and
Sure.
whether they can be like accelerator of the digital transformation.
Sure. First of all, let me just do something quick here. I was introduced as a president-elect candidate, but I'm also supposed to make a statement that there are 4 candidates for this year's balloting running for IEEE president-elect. The other 3 are Kazuhiro Kasuge, Kathleen Kramer, and Mikey Lucan. And you can learn more about the candidates on the president-elect candidates webpage, which is IEEE.org/PE23. If you do have questions to me about my candidacy, I'm happy to talk with you offline. So I needed to do that because you're supposed to do that for an IEEE event. So my apologies. I think that digital transformation is referring to a broad set of activities that are dealing with creating more information in digital format, and therefore making it amenable to all the technologies we develop for processing digital data. And I think one of the applications is to create more immersive experiences and new ways for us to interact with each other, which I think has been stimulated enormously by the pandemic situation, with a lot more people confined to where they are. We've been using Zoom and other types of communication. It'd be nice if we can go beyond the little boxes that we're all in right now, to something where I feel more like I'm looking at you, for instance, Alex, face to face, in a real environment. I think these are all parts of, I see this as almost sort of a part of a bigger thing of who we are as human beings, and that our natures are such that we're constantly endeavoring to explore new things, to understand things, and understand ourselves in ways we've never done before. And part of that is we learn about ourselves through interaction with others, and finding new ways and new methods that are enabled by technology to do that are part of what it's going to be a human in the future. And so I think learning how to do more immersive interactions with data, with other people, with the world around us will lead to new understandings, new concepts of who we are, where we are in the universe, and also allow us to do new things and to expand to meet the needs of the future. One of the things, besides just creating things that are more internal, like being able to interact with each other, technology is also going to soon enable us to become an interplanetary civilization, not just on the Earth, but on Mars and orbit and various other places. And all these technologies will be key parts of making that happen. So digital transformation is part of a bigger effort, I think, that I think is fundamental to a very important and positive part of being a human being. And that is knowing ourselves, knowing the world better. These are tools that will help us to make that happen. So I hope that gives, maybe a little different insight from what some of the other folks are saying. Thank you, Alex.
Thanks, Tom. How about Robert?
Okay, well, to me, metaverse and digital transformation are quite different things. So I do not buy into the fact that they represent the same thing and they are usually interchangeable. There might be some people doing that, but I think it's wrong. The metaverse is a static thing, is a space, okay? Digital transformation is about an action. You are transforming something, okay? And you're executing it. Now, the result of a digital transformation might well be a metaverse. That's fine. But you can also create a metaverse without a digital transformation. Actually, many startups are starting by creating the metaverse, and they do not need any digital transformation at all. Now, for that part of companies, and are many, of course, that are embarking in digital transformation, therefore they are transforming part of their digital assets and the processes in the physical space into something that goes in the cyberspace, they are creating actually a metaverse. But I guess that most of these companies by far will need to keep also the physical space. So I see only a very minor, very little portion of these companies that will completely go into the metaverse and forget the physical space. So the point is that how can we connect for this company the metaverse that they have created through a digital transformation with their physical space? And the other thing, an interesting question, is whether in this process of digital transformation that result in a metaverse, are they able or will they be able to move also the marketplace into the metaverse? Now, this is an interesting point because it means that the customers, their customers, will actually roam the metaverse to access their products, to use their products, and so on. But I see this again as something that will happen also in a minority of cases. In order to have really a huge proportion of the marketplace and the customers moving to the metaverse, I think that we need some ways, some mediation device that should be much better than the goggles that we have today from Oculus Rift or something like that. I attended the presentation of Accenture just 2 weeks ago, or something like that. And the presentation was an hour presentation. You find it on YouTube. It was called Meet Me in the Metaverse. Okay, so it was right there. And actually the two presenters at a certain point that were using this Oculus Rift or sort of, and I can tell you that I wouldn't be able to wear those kind of things for more than a few minutes. So I cannot imagine that the broad audience, the marketplace, would actually be willing to have this kind of thing. Personally, I think we are still quite far from having a seamless device that can connect me to the metaverse and to live in the metaverse. It might come. I don't see it coming in this decade personally, but Tom may object to that. He is the one who knows. So I think that we have to keep the two concepts separated. They are connected, but they are separated. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to make some comment about your view, because your view is somewhat that I share with you some part in that, because yeah, definitely a lot of the company now, what they're doing is completely virtual, not actually not connect to the real space. And then the digital transformation means that through the digital transformation, actually the transformation of the real world. Right? So I like your view. And then actually I try to the same thing to like have a common sense with other experts in the metaverse. Maybe not I'm not a mainstream because a lot of people are not thinking about my view is connecting your virtual space with the real space and transforming not just your digital space, but your real space will be the complete digital transformation. So I want to share just briefly about my view about how they connect. You mentioned about the like economic system. So okay, I want to just show one thing here. So can you see that? So actually what many people are now focused on here, virtual space. So they put everything in here. So here is a digitalization. So everything it will be digitalized and then put in the virtual metaverse space. So So a lot of people are doing it. They call like the creative economy or the virtual economy, metaverse. A lot of the people are concentration is a virtual economic system. So everything is happening in the virtual space. But how they actually can be connected to your space through the digital twin. That's one actually that I'm thinking about. Digital twin is very important. It will be the connector between the real space and virtual space. So what will happen in your karma? So for example, that everything will be in the virtual space, but this is really happen now. It's a lot of the like auto dealers and now build up their like auto shop. And then you have to build up your adaptability to your like a virtual showroom. And you look at like whether it's a Hyundai or the Toyota or it's a Tesla. And then look at it in the 3D space, you can experience whatever you want, like what is your like a favorite car or something like that. And then what happened actually that he selected someone and then agency in here will be happy to buy it. And then he pay by the cryptocurrency in the virtual space. And then they can be a lot of things actually you can do in they can also have a financing in the virtual space. But actually how can connect? Actually, there should be some connection between the virtual space and real space. That's why I call digital twin. So for example, that if you have like a car selected and then you want some options, so favor personalized option to you, and then what now trying to do, for example, like the NVIDIA Omniverse platform, they can build up your factory even in the metaverse. So, but they are connected to your real factory here. So they connected. So whatever you have like choose the option will be reflected in the real factory. So they will build up your own car based on your preference, and then they will deliver to your space. So this is the real space what happened. And then what really is something that are not realizing here is actually how you actually realize your cryptocurrency through the currency in the real world. And then now it's only through like they call cryptocurrency exchange. But this is one view that even this is with the business or the real life, that in the future, that if you have a connection between your virtual space and real space, and then what you have in the virtual space can be reflected to your real space, and then they will be transformed. So this is my view, but I'm not saying that this is generally accepted. This is my view, but I like your view that like they should be something reflected in the real space. Okay.
If I may, Alex, I just want to point out, because this is actually at the core of the digital reality initiative in the IEEE, is the fact that what we're seeing is that the virtual space is becoming part of the real space. And actually there will be no distinction between virtual and physical once they are all real. But in order for that to become true, you'll need this kind of mediation device that is seamless, okay? And we don't have this kind of thing now. But
because I talk with a lot of the new generation. For example, my daughters, and then they are the like we call M and G generation, and then much younger generation. They like in the Roblox, like it's a game. Yeah, hundreds, thousand, million people are gathered together, and then I try to understand why they are insisting about this virtual space, and then somebody said like, oh, you're old because you too much talk about why you try to combine everything you talk about digital and try to combine with your real space. Just let virtual space as it is, right? So I just think about, well, I'm old thinking. So I'm not sure, but a lot of people are still just accept it. Right, we are not the same generation, but I found is the younger generation. They just think about is a virtual space is as natural. So I'm not sure whether my view is correct or not, but I like Yuan's use like a view that here is there are many hierarchies and then not consensus about it. So I think that especially IEEE law will be even in the academics and the industry, and then all the vertical industry, and then different tiers, that we need something that the unified view of the metaverse. It will be the starting point, and then going to like standardization and then looking at how we can make it sustainable and something like that. That'll be the role of the the IEEE, I think about. Okay, so finally that
Well, Alex Ray is raising his hand.
Oh yeah, I think the Ray is your part. So you can, if you have a question, you can have it, and also you can share your insight.
Okay. First I wanted to echo what Roberto said about putting that thing on your head. I've done that, and 5 minutes of it, and I wanted it off. But as I look at this, it's going to be, what's going to drive the metaverse is going to be use the old saying, follow the money. Where is the money going to be to invest in this? On the one hand, we've got the entertainment side, and that's where, as Alex, as you were just saying, your kids in the virtual world they're in, there's that entertainment, that gaming world that's going to be continuing to push things in that direction. But on the corporate side, I think we're going to see the metaverse being pushed in a very different direction for several reasons. You're going to see the social media people investing into a metaverse to create an avatar for communication. And that's just a communication avatar so that I can sit in my living room and talk with you rather than talking with you over a computer screen. You'll see also in the corporate world, on the sales side, when they're looking at selling high dollar, very expensive items that people they want to try before you buy. They want to look at it, touch it, feel it, play with it a little bit. Kind of like what Audi's doing with their vehicles. The people there can actually see what it's like to have that vehicle before they purchase the vehicle. So I see that becoming even more of a metaverse, that sales experience. And then the third will be the training experience on the corporate side, as a particular in training jobs that have either require a significant amount of technical skills, or there's a lot of safety related issues. And as we see it in a lot of the classic workforce labor is going away, because with so much of it is being covered now through automation and robotics, that for now that everyone needs to be more skilled to do their job. The technical worker of tomorrow is going to need additional skills, and the metaverse is where they're going to get a chance to train, to learn, to practice. So I think we're going to see, those parts, the sales, the social media avatar, and the training, those I think are very much in line with what you just described, Alex, as far as connecting the virtual world and physical world. But I think there's still going to be that entertainment side that is the escapism. That, the reason we go to the movies to watch Star Wars or Star Trek today, it's so that we can be in something just totally different, escapist, and that will also be a type of metaverse. So I think we're going to see a split in two different kinds of metaverse applications.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a very good point. Actually, I have a webinar in 1 hour. Actually, the webinar is about the sustainable metaverse experience designing. And then what you mentioned about actually what kind of the metaverse experience you can have. And then yeah, FKSD is some kind of fantasy. It's like a game. Is one. And the other is like immersion, and then you can, another thing is like entertainment, and another thing is maybe education. So we can have a different layer of the experience you can have, and then it can also relate to some applications. So yeah, that's a very good point. Okay, Tom, do you have any question or comment?
Yeah, I had some comments.
Mm-hmm.
There's first of all, there's a lot of what other people said has a lot of value. The use of a lot of the virtual reality stuff right now is again, it's not as comfortable as you'd like it to be. You're wearing oftentimes a big thing on your head. What you'd like is to have it built into this. So technology is going to be an enabler. Developments in technology, battery technology to fit batteries into something like this that'll last a long time. Lower energy consumption devices that are built into everyday things, like a pair of glasses that's connected that could last at least a day, of augmented reality work where you get at least possibly, where you can do a full virtual experience. The other thing is that moving from something where it's games and entertainment into something where it's a bigger part of our lives will require a great deal more security and standards to make possible than exist right now, or at least are in widespread use. So I think those are some important elements. One is the development of technologies to make this so it is more accessible to more people, and not somewhat of a burden the way it is today. And the other thing is to create the means by which people can carry on more of our regular transactions working in a metaverse type environment versus working in the real world. The other thing to realize, of course, is that the metaverse is a model. It's not the real world, and that can be good in the sense of being able to make predictions, but your predictions may or may not be true. So the other thing that you need to have, of course, is the model needs to be updated based upon new things that we find out as it goes along. Digital twins are only as good as the technology and understanding went into making them. They've got to continue to develop and grow as our abilities do. Thanks.
Thank you, Tom. Okay, so it's almost time. So I thank you for your valuable comment and valuable insight about the metaverse and then relate to the digital transformation. Okay, so I think it's your turn at the level of today's kickoff meeting.
Okay, thank you so much, Alex, and thank you so much, everyone. So I hope you have enjoyed the session. I myself have enjoyed that very much. And this entire session is being recorded. So I hope we could post that on YouTube or well, on the website in a couple of days. And well, again, also my sincerest thanks to the audience on Zoom, on YouTube, and on Bilibili, the platform, streaming platform in China. So, well, I think that's, I'm happy to join this session, and hope everyone of you have a, well, thank you so much. And